All right, Alan, this is such a huge, huge honor to speak with you. I've been a fan for so many years, so this makes me so happy.
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
So, what made you decide to host the show?
I just fancied doing something crazy, really, and I spoke to the producers, and they sent me the Dutch one, and I became a little obsessed. And then I spoke to them, and I realised why they were asking me is they wanted to make it a sort of this character, and so I really enjoyed kind of the idea of I'm doing this heightened version of myself, and because spoiler alert, I don't really live in that castle. It's not my castle, and I don't
Oh
normally.
man,
Sorry,
that was
I
yours.
don't normally wear capes, but I liked it. It was sort of like playing a Bond villain, really, in a sort of competition way.
Yes. And what was it like working with so many different reality cast members? So you have Rachel from Big Brother, Brandy from Real Housewives, Kate from Willow Deck, so many amazing personalities. What was it like working with them?
Well, it was great, but I didn't really. I wasn't a sort of au fait with that world. So it was for me. It was. I mean, a couple of them I knew. I did recognize Brandy and Kate, but the Big Brother and the sort of Survivor thing had really passed me by. So it was kind of funny, like learning about that, and they would be talking in the round table. They'd be talking about their show, their past shows, and I was kind of learning a lot. But it was actually quite good. I think I didn't. Like I came to it sort of with fresh eyes, and like sometimes I would get confused, like because there's 10, celebrities and there's 10 real people, and it was initially when there was so many of them, it was 20 to start with. It was actually difficult for me to know which was which, and I got their bios. I felt like I was sort of a private detective. I got all their biographies. I knew all these things about them. I saw their tapes that they'd sent in, and it was kind of fun. I felt like I was sort of undercover.
Nice. And what's the biggest challenge about hosting itself? Because you're such an iconic actor. I mean, you've done so many amazing products, including my personal favorite, Romeo and Michelle. So, what was the different about how was it different hosting rather than acting?
Well, I sort of feel I was acting in this. I'm sort of playing a heightened Bond villainy version of myself. I kind of it was sort of very. But the hard things for me were like having a thing in your ear all the time, and being told being sort of guided was. I mean, ultimately, I really enjoyed it and was glad of it a lot of the time. But initially, it's quite difficult, sort of when you're not used to that. And then I guess the biggest challenge was having bad poker face. When I obviously knew certain things that the contestants didn't know, like who were the traitors, for instance, and just keeping sort of in character and not gasping at certain times when things happened. That was one of my flaws, I think.
Yeah, how did you do that? Because I would just be like, oh my God. I just like what a wonder person. And I have the worst poker face ever too. So like how did you do it without, giving everything away?
Well, it's because I'm a top international award-winning actor. That's
That
what
is
I.
very
That's
true,
what I
and
say.
I'm not. So
Yeah, there we are. That's it. Just
that's how my mother always knew I was lying as a kid because I have the worst poker face ever. What do you think makes this show so different than other reality shows out there?
Ooh, gosh. Well, I'm not a sort of huge aficionado of reality shows, but I imagine that it's this combination of different things. It's sort of like a competition. It's like got a reality element with the sort of secret cameras and everything, and then it's also, it's a this. It's not about. It's there's a sort of an aim to it. There's sort of and the idea that people have to work together, but also it's individually sort of ambitious as well. And it just plays to people's heads. I mean, I just like crazy stuff happens, and it's I absolutely loved it. I really had such fun doing this because you become I became so invested in everybody and what was going to happen, and you could see certain people taking a certain tack, that was obviously disastrous, and it was just, and then he's watching people and then thinking, oh, they're playing a really good game. So I think why it's different is because it's a sort of a confluence of various different styles of things, and at the heart of it, there's me playing a sort of weird character. I mean, I don't know, but I don't imagine that many shows like this have a person in a cape, for instance.
I love that. And you say this is like playing a character. So as Alan yourself, who do you relate to more, the character you played on this or one of your acting characters? And if so, which one do you relate to the most?
Well, I suppose, I'm called Alan in this, and it's hosted by Alan Cumming, but it's not me at all. I mean, I suppose I'm more, it's sort of like it's as if I really did live in a castle and had invited 20 strangers to come and play this crazy game, I probably would be that. I would be like that person. So I mean, it's interesting because I don't really ever play anyone, even doing, going on talk shows when you're being yourself, you're playing a heightened version of yourself. You're dressed up and you're telling funny stories. I do tell funny stories quite a lot, but I'm usually, with a drink in my hand and less sartorially eloquent. So I don't know. I think this is probably quite the nearest to me, just because I'm called me.
Very nice. And we are almost out of time, which makes me sad because I could just talk to you all day because I think you're amazing. But how would you describe the show in 3 words?
Absolutely fucking crazy.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much. And thank you for making my childhood and my sister's childhood so amazing with Romy and Michelle.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Have a good day and happy holidays.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.